China's September incursions into Taiwan ADs up by 42% from August. Gold price might go negative in 2023. Kevin McCarthy voted out as Speaker. Latest US-China talks seen as preparation for Biden-Xi summit. India tells Canada to withdraw 41 diplomats. Scientists behind Pfizer and Moderna mRNA vaccines win Nobel. Taylor Swift's love story boosts NFL Sunday ratings for NBC. Maldives president-elect vows to removing the Indian military.
Hello, I'm Johnny. Thank you for joining us on Funday News. It's Wednesday, October 4th, and here are your top stories. According to Taiwan News, Damien Simon, an open-source intelligence researcher, said intrusions by Chinese military aircraft into Taiwan's air defense identification zone in September spiked by 42% from August. In September, 225 Chinese People's Liberation Army Air Force military planes breached Taiwan's ADIZ, a 42.2% increase from the 130 reported by the Ministry of National Defense in August. Overall, there were 565 Chinese military aircraft tracked around Taiwan in September.
On Sunday, October 1st, Simon uploaded a map on X showing the location of intrusions by PLOF aircraft into Taiwan's ADs recorded in September, including 225 incursions over the median line. Unlike August, when a number of aircraft fully encircled Taiwan, most of the PLOF missions conducted in September occurred around the median line and southwest and southeast sectors of the ADs. The approximate total of PLOF sorties into Taiwan's ADs from 2018 to 2023 has reached 4,473.
According to Thinkorswim data, gold futures for October delivery dropped almost 1% on Friday to $1,864.60. Dow Jones data shows gold also slipped 9% below a 52-week high of $2,048 that was reached on May 4th. September was a tough month for gold as the commodity dived 5.2% for the month. The drop last Friday also cut gold futures gain to 1.8% since January 1st. That raises the prospect that, with further decline, the return could go negative. The biggest reason could simply be the strength of the US dollar.
On Monday, the euro fell to $1.0481. Meanwhile, the US greenback is selling for 149.83 Japanese yen, up more than 13% year to date. The Federal Reserve's monetary tightening campaign has made US Treasury securities more attractive given their higher yields. Overseas investors must purchase US debt securities with US dollars. And when real interest rates are positive, investors are encouraged to accumulate financial assets that actually provide either dividends or interest to the holders. Gold does not.
Kevin McCarthy has been ousted as Speaker of the House in a historic vote sparked by a tumultuous civil war in the Republican Party. A motion was raised by Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz and a small group of hardline Republicans who viewed McCarthy as a weak conservative. The Speaker's chair was vacated after a 216-210 vote to boot the House leader. McCarthy became the first Speaker in the 234-year history of the United States Congress to be kicked out and have his gavel taken away by fellow lawmakers.
Representative Patrick McHenry, RNC, chair of the Financial Services Committee and a close ally of McCarthy, will now serve as the Speaker, pro tem, meaning he will do the job until the House can decide on someone else. The House is now in recess while Republicans decide on their next move to elect a leader. The humiliating end for McCarthy, 58, sent shockwaves across Capitol Hill and made him the shortest-serving Speaker since 1875. Following a roller coaster tenure of 9 months.
China's Foreign Vice Minister for Asia, Sung Weidong, met the U.S. Assistant Secretary of State for East Asian and Pacific Affairs, Daniel Kritenbrink, in Washington last Thursday. Observers say the meeting between senior U.S. and Chinese diplomats overseeing Asian affairs was likely part of ongoing discussions to prepare for a leaders' summit, because that would suggest that there is some sort of understanding against competition running amok, or taking the relationship to the point that it breaks down irretrievably.
Dylan Low, an assistant professor of foreign policy at Nanyang Technological University in Singapore, said the meeting suggested previous talks between U.S. and Chinese officials had, more or less, achieved what they set out to achieve. Alfred Wu, associate professor at the National University of Singapore's Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy, said previous ministerial-level talks suggested that the leaders would meet as Beijing typically expected a detailed plan when its top leaders traveled.
The Financial Times reported that on Tuesday, India has told Canada that it must repatriate 41 diplomats by October 10th. The Financial Times, citing people familiar with the Indian demand, said India had threatened to revoke the diplomatic immunity of those diplomats told to leave who remained after October 10th. The newspaper said Canada has 62 diplomats in India, and India had said that the total should be reduced by 41. The Indian and Canadian foreign ministries did not immediately react to the report.
But that's why it's so important for us to have diplomats on the ground working with the Indian government.
Ties between India and Canada have become seriously strained over Canadian suspicion that Indian government agents had a role in the June murder in Canada of a Sikh separatist leader and Canadian citizen, Hardeep Singh Nijjar, who India had labelled a terrorist. India has dismissed the allegation as absurd. Indian Foreign Minister Subramanyam Jaishankar said earlier there was a climate of violence and an atmosphere of intimidation against Indian diplomats in Canada.
Two scientists won the Nobel Prize in Medicine for research that laid the groundwork for some of the best-selling medicines of all time, the messenger RNA vaccines against COVID-19. Kathleen Carrickle and Drew Weissman's work helped pioneer the technology that enabled Moderna Inc. and the Pfizer Inc. BioNTech SE partnership to swiftly develop shots. The vaccines have been given to hundreds of millions of people around the world, a key step toward easing the coronavirus pandemic.
The Nobel Assembly at the Karolinska Institute in Stockholm said in a statement Monday Carrico and Weissman will share the 11 million krona, $1 million award. The scientists showed how to solve one of the major problems of mRNA by tweaking it to avoid causing inflammation. Their research, published in 2005, was one of the building blocks that allowed it to be introduced into the body. Their work became the basis for a new type of inoculation. mRNA is used to prompt cells to produce what's needed for a vaccine themselves.
NBC's Sunday Night Football drew an audience of 27 million viewers, up 22% from a year ago, as the rumored relationship between Swift and Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce pulled in additional fans. The network said Monday that it included 2 million more women. It's the second weekend in a row that Swift's presence in the luxury box of an NFL game has been credited with delivering publicity for the league. She also turned out to see Kelce and the Chiefs beat the Chicago Bears a week earlier, sitting with Kelce's mom, Donna.
The fan excitement has been reflected in the amount of money bet on games. Action on Kelce via DraftKings more than doubled over the weekend. The NFL is capitalizing on Swift's attendance. It changed the banner of its page on X to show her cheering at a game on Monday. Swift brought celebrity friends Ryan Reynolds, Sophie Turner and Hugh Jackman to MetLife Stadium on Sunday. Marketers also sought to cash in, with companies airing commercials during the game that featured Swift or Kelce.
The president-elect of the Maldives said he will stick to his campaign promise to remove Indian military personnel stationed in the archipelago state, promising he would initiate the process. Mohammed Muiz told his supporters gathered Monday night at a celebration of his election victory that he wouldn't stand for a foreign military staying in the Maldives against the will of its citizens. He said, "The people have told us that they don't want foreign military here."
Muiz's party, the People's National Congress, is viewed as heavily pro-China. Former President Abdullah Yameen, leader of the People's National Congress, made the Maldives a part of China's Belt and Road Initiative during his presidency from 2013 to 2018. The initiative is meant to build railroads, ports and highways to expand trade across Asia, Africa and Europe. The Maldives is made up of 1,200 coral islands in the Indian Ocean, located by the main shipping route between the East and the West.
The answer for yesterday was A, lunch. The attacker knocked on their door and made a lunge for Wendy when she answered. Did you answer correctly? Now let's delve into the news of scientists behind Pfizer and Moderna vaccines winning Nobel. Number 1, groundwork. 基础工作，准备工作. Officials are laying the groundwork for a summit conference of world leaders. Number 2, swift. 迅速发生的，马上做出的，迅速的. The White House was swift to deny the rumors. Number 3, pioneer. 当开拓者，做先锋，宣导. America has always retained her pioneering spirit. Next, we have a multiple choice question for everyone to practice. Which answer would you choose? You can write your answer in the comment section. The correct answer will be announced tomorrow. And that's all for today's Funday News. Be sure to tune into Funday News from Monday to Friday and click the link below to join Funday for free. I'm Johnny Wu, your host. I'll see you next time.